Hello, everyone. Thank you for stopping in. Welcome to the Two Broken Escalators podcast. Thank you all for being here. My name is Kyle. Always will be. I don't know what you say it is. Your intro is boring, so I'm not going to use it anymore.
My intro's better than yours.
I don't like that phrase you use. But anyway, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. If you're watching this later on YouTube, like and subscribe. I am joined by my lovely co-host, Mr. Noblehamil. Noble, how you doing today?
I'm Noble. Sorry, I got shy. I'm doing pretty good. Welcome everybody to 2BE number 11, the most interactive podcast on Twitch. That's our tagline. Please don't take it. We do not have the money to trademark it yet.
Seriously, please, guys, rapport. Don't.
As we were saying before the podcast, pre-podcast, we're both pretty tired. Hard to sleep because of the heat. I did get some important art done on stream today, which I am very excited about. And then after stream, of course, I'll have more work to do, but I have tomorrow off, so you guys aren't gonna fucking hear anything from me. I'll be sleeping.
You get a day off from him finally.
Ow. How you doing, big man?
Sorry. I'm doing well. Life's gotten kind of boring again. Like, it was good for like the first 2 months of quarantine, and then things kind of stabilized, and then I got ready to go back to the office 2 days a week, and now it's kind of stabilized again, even after like the storm and everything. So now I'm back into that cycle of just,
Thinking about killing yourself but not pulling the trigger.
No, I can't afford a gun.
Oh, that's so sad. You have to pick the gun or the bullets. Look, when New York man found throwing bullets at his head, saying, "Why can't I die?"
But it's not too bad. I need this phone call eventually. They had to push everything back because of coronavirus for the new job. Once I get that, things will be rolling for the next few months with studying for that. Then I'll have enough money to move out, find an apartment, get set up. We could buy some new things. Then we'll be snowballing from there. That'll be much better. But until I get that call, I'm gonna get it. I just don't know when. I'm hoping it's this year. It's been a long process. The first test I took was in March, so.
I don't want to call you out, but I have to call you out for your ADD and the metal balls in your hands. That'll freak out the audio for the later listeners.
These are my balls. I'll put them down for now.
I'll put my balls down. Put them in my girlfriend's purse. As always, it seems like we're starting these streams since we're on the Twitch platform. We're starting with Twitch news, and some stuff happened with Pokemon recently. I don't really know anything about it. You said you were going to update me. I don't. Everyone in the chat at this point knows how I feel about Pokemon, so just go ahead, update me. I'll tell you how I feel.
She apologized.
For? Yes, all of it?
All right, so, okay. Well, let me just see what Luke just Yeah, maybe they deserved it. That's true. Dave Chappelle is more of a prophet, less of a comedian. Really, he should invest in everything he says. But anyway, yeah, right. So little background. She's been on a break from social media. Not necessarily, she's still, I'm sure, browsing social media and making random comments or tweets and watching streams or whatever, but she's not streaming, she's not working.
Yeah, she said she was taking a break, but she's still actively using it, which is not smart. If you're gonna take a break, turn that shit off.
I think it was mostly for streaming. She's not working. She's not like.
You should take a break from all of it, because you're still,
I guess,
being consumed.
To each their own.
No, it's not. She's just wrong. She's just wrong about this. If you're gonna take a break from working on social media, you shouldn't just be on social media in your spare time. It defeats the purpose of it. Because she's still gonna see all the comments, all the shitty comments all the time. All the people asking when she's back.
I don't think that's what she's taking a break from, because she's gotten that for 6 years. So like, why now? What? I mean, you don't know if this is true, but she said a while ago that she was taking a break, and that's what her friends confirmed, that it was planned before all this happened. So you don't really know. Another big-ish streamer, Quarter Jade, just came back from a break. She took like some time off. So you don't really know if it was she was planning on, and then this was the final straw.
Regardless of whether she is planning it, it's just like, I'll say this to the smarter people in chat: if you're gonna take a break, don't pick and choose what social media you're taking a break from, because it all becomes the same at one point. You close out of one app to open another app. You're kind of trapped in all of it. So if you're gonna take a break, like if I'm gonna take a break from streaming, actually want to take a break from streaming, when I find the appropriate level of success on streaming, I think I'm in a good spot. You guys won't hear from me for weeks. I'm just gonna fucking go into the woods, hang out. I might do that anyway, actually.
Clear up a weekend to do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she, regardless, she's on the break. And then she just came out with the video yesterday, titled "My Overdue Apology," or something to that sort. I don't know the exact title.
Oh yeah, I just realized that this is work too. She just made a work video.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, she has a right. She had to. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, she felt she had to do it. It was a 15 or 16 minute, basically, apology for a few things that happened in the past. She had some videos taken down about her that she felt wasn't. The term they use, transformative content, which could really mean anything depending on who you are. But she felt that they didn't make their own content; they just compiled videos from her stream and put it into a video and put it on YouTube. And because of the way the YouTube algorithm works, those videos were getting extremely popular while her highlights were getting the views eaten from it.
Interjection on that. She chose to go about that wrong. She could just claim that and say, if you keep putting these videos up, then it'll just be, the money will go to me. That's what, there's a Dr. Disrespect channel that does that has 500,000 followers. It's called the Champions Club on YouTube. It's 500,000 subs, and all the money goes directly to Doc.
And he doesn't run it?
Yeah. It's like,
so what's the point of them doing?
I have zero fucking idea.
That sounds sketchy.
Let me look it up.
I'm sure Doc pays that person to do it. Like, I'm sure it's like.
Keep talking. Let me look it up.
So anyway, and there was another situation like that where during the video they talked over the video the whole time, but the video that was presented was just a slideshow of a Twitter conversation between her and Keemstar, and the person basically, just trashed her the whole time, just kind of just like kept calling her name, blah blah. So she, when she was like reacting to it on stream or in a video or whatever, she's like, whoever the sponsor was, blah blah blah, like, how can you support someone like this that just makes toxic content? And he ended up losing the sponsor because of it. So then it became a huge problem. Like, how can you go after someone's livelihood, like someone's income? So that was the first thing she apologized for. The second thing was, maybe that was two separate topics. She just kept saying sorry for a bunch of things. I don't even know off the top of my head. That was like the majority of it, right? It was for like her actions in the past. I just keep thinking about all the people that made videos about her. Like, that pops up in my head instead because there's so many. Like, I think if you just put if you were to put out a video a day for 10 days and you just like made the title of the video a different famous streamer, I'm sure you get like 100,000 subs in 10 days.
Let's not reach that far.
I think you honestly could.
Views would be different than subs. Sub is different because you don't get the attention. Yeah, views probably.
You get a lot of views on it.
Also, on this Dr. Disrespect YouTube channel, it says Dr. Disrespect receives the majority, so not all of it, of this channel's ad revenue directly. We have permission to keep uploading Dr. Disrespect content allowed by Dr. Disrespect's official YouTube channel manager, video editor, and creative advisor.
Interesting.
So maybe they make a little bit of money. I don't know.
You know what the interesting statement of that? Oh wait. Are you back? Noble.
Parents noise all the time.
Yeah, no problem. I think the interesting is that he has a creative advisor.
Who,
Wonder how
Doc?
someone got that. But anyway, so she goes on to apologize for like 15 minutes, and then within I think 3 hours, the first video came out, like ripping on her apology. So she's gonna
It's
take a little
probably
more time
Leafy
off.
again.
No, it wasn't, because I got recommended to it for watching the video like later
Imagine
on.
ripping it. That's the thing too. Like, I don't think you'll ever catch. No matter what fucked up stuff I do, I don't know if you'll ever catch me making an apology video. Because you can't apologize. They don't care. The people that you apologize to are already going to be mad at you regardless. It's not going to fix however they feel about you.
Yeah, we talked about this a while ago. It's kind of just both making videos about other people and apologizing is just like they're both just like wastes of time. I don't know. I mean, people want to get views, get clicks out of it. Sure, go ahead. Like that's the only way you can make content. That's all you do. Have fun.
But like,
you know, it is. There's always going to be people that do it. So
it's great. But like making a 12, that's got to be a pretty like a non-positive, non-creative video. Like making a 12-minute. I don't think people really hate Logan. Logan Paul's the older brother. I don't really think people hate him anymore. People might still hate him.
people do for his
I've started leaning towards the fact that he's a genius because of watching Devin Nash videos, but I used to think I'm outing myself in chat. I used to think like if that guy ever fucking started shit with me, I'd totally fight him. What? Like Noble, like what are you like what? Like why are you thinking like this? I sat down and really talked to myself and I was like, Noble, respectfully, yes, Noble. Are you a fucking dumb person? Like, who thinks like that? What a waste of time that is. That's the thing too. Like, so many people they get so invested in celebrity lives. They get so invested in the time that they have. I was looking up stuff about Joe Rogan last night, and I stumbled on something about his wife, and like I didn't know anything about his wife because he doesn't talk about her ever. Like, oh, this is Joe Rogan's wife. Cool. And then I stopped looking because like people get so fucking invested in all of that stuff. I will probably never have my girlfriend in a video, and this talks about future channels too, like unless she really really wants to be and I'm comfortable with it, but I don't want her in the public eye. I don't want my fucking family in the public eye. My kids will never be in the public eye unless I intentionally put them there.
So that was another thing she apologized for, that she didn't really apologize for, but she's like, I've said this for 7 years now, that like I'll never announce whether anything happens in my private life. She's like, from the beginning I told myself that I will keep my private life and my work life separate, as just a sort of like help the mindset of when she's actually in a relationship or dating, she wants to like keep that separate unless her and that other person decided they wanted to go public for whatever reason.
Yeah. People are too fucking invested.
Yeah, that makes sense, but it doesn't matter what you do when you're that big. People are just gonna make up stuff because it gets clicks, and that's all they care about.
There's a WWE superstar that got pregnant, disappeared from the show, and they actively decided, like her and her fiance are both wrestlers. I believe it's her fiance. Her and her fiance are both wrestlers, and he had to go on his Instagram live, and he was like, "Stop fucking asking us about the kid. Like, I don't want you to do that. It makes us uncomfortable. You're not fans of ours if you ask us about the kid. Stop. Yeah. We're not gonna send you pictures. You guys don't get to know any updates." People are fucking.
It's just weird.
It's weird. It's just weird.
Champs.
Like I'm super friendly with my chat. I'm super vocal. I share a lot of stuff with my chat. But if the limit is always drawn with me. So if they're gonna come in and be like, "Hey Noble, I found all this stuff in your history. Would you feel free to talk about it on stream, or would you like me to bring it up?" Like, what? But you're not a fan of mine. You're not a supporter. Like, why the fuck are you doing that? Why are you talking about stuff that I actively don't want to talk about? What? It's like people get an insight into your life or something and they feel more confident about it. I have no idea. I can't it's something that I'm trying to actively change within my mindset, like saying the words I can't understand, because you can understand
Mhm.
why certain people operate the way that they do, but that one is very difficult for me to be so invested in a celebrity's life. Like, um, having a celebrity crush or something, but it's like, it's one different, it's, well, for guys, I'll speak to the guys because girls don't do this. It's different to fucking go home at night and herk your gurk to said celebrity or follow them in a fucking grocery store. Like, that's,
Your girl.
I said that the last time I said that, you laughed too.
It's so good.
Um, that's something that's, it's difficult for me to process, and I will stand under the premise that I cannot understand it at the moment because there's something that is mentally wrong with a person that is so invested in the lives of somebody they don't know. I was
Yeah.
listening to a podcast the other day, and the fascinating thing is the podcasters were talking, and they said it's a very weird profession that we have because we're considered friendly with all those people, or we're considered friends. Like, our chat is a big happy family, but I also know these people. I know all the people that would let's say I've known someone in this chat for 5 days or something. So they start sharing stuff with me, we start getting conversation. I know them, but they don't know me. So
Yeah.
then you would take that even one step further, like all the people on Instagram that I've never talked to. Social media is a very, very weird form of communicating because all these people know me and I have no fucking idea who they are. So it references the Stan song from Eminem, basically, where it's like, absolutely crazy fans that are like, how could you not give me the attention? How could you not love me? How could you not care about me like I care about you? I don't fucking know you. Sure, you're an alright guy, but I don't fucking know you.
That was big a few weeks ago when um who brought it up? I think we might have even linked the clip a few weeks prior. I can't think of his name. He did like a food stream or like Oreo eating stream with Cinderella, whatever her name is, cutie.
I know QT Cinderella, but I don't know Ludwig. I know who Ludwig is.
Ludwig. Yes,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you. Ludwig. Not Ludwig van Beethoven. Ludwig Streamer.
He did an Oreo stream and
Okay, it has nothing to do with the Oreo stream. It's just the only thing I could think of that he was related to. He has. It's a really popular video. I wish I could find it. It's like a 30-second clip about like we talked about it. He just basically talks us like to like, I don't know you guys, like we're not like friend when you get think to his point, like, when there's thousands of people watching you, like we're not they're not friends, like it's not like a mutual thing, like he doesn't know anything about any most of the 99% of the people in chat.
mm-hmm.
um I think I found it. Hold on.
Even further than that, it's like 99.8. Like, I will know my 2 year subscribers as I go further on. I'll probably know them by name because they've been around for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But the majority of people that are talking in chat, it's like I'm trying to learn everyone's names now because I'm making relationships with people. It's a friendly interaction. But there's a lot of people who are like, I have no fucking idea who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I can't communicate with you the same way that you can communicate with me because I'm somebody that you come in and say, hey, you want to talk about video games, you want to talk about your day. But I'm not going to share my personal life in the same way. Not because I don't
No.
like the people that stop in here. Like, if you start getting closer in Discord, if we play some games together, like if you become friendly with the other people and then you would fall into our group, I wouldn't mind that at all. I would absolutely love for that to happen. Someone that holds me in a high regard or is a fan of mine, and then we end up becoming friends because they already like me. So I would like to get to know them too. David Dobrik has a huge problem with that. I don't know if I've told you about that before, but people just show up to his house. Have I ever told you that?
No, that's insane.
Yeah, kids have their parents drive them to his house
That's just weird. How are parents okay with that?
They're stupid. They're stupid people. They're stupid people. He has to actively tell people to leave his house. He has to call the police all the time. He has to get his assistant to go out there and be like, I
How did
can't.
they get his address?
It's public information at this point. Someone doxed him, and now it's just someone doxed him, and now it's just there.
And he didn't move?
He hasn't moved yet, but he's looking for new houses. But he put up a post where he's like, I love this house so much. And then you have, it's weird because you have two sides. You have one saying, like, how are you guys so dumb? This is his house. This is where he goes to relax. This is his safe space away. Like, he's a different person in his videos than he is in his private life. And then there's the other side saying, like, well, why are his videos like that? Why is he so nice to so many people? Why does he share his personality like that if he doesn't want me to come see him? What? Like, what?
Oh, man.
Have you never seen a movie or anything? Like, what? That's, how fucking,
Sorry.
wasn't that how JFK got assassinated, or somebody got assassinated? Because somebody was in love with somebody else that was in, like, a movie or a book or something.
I don't think that's JFK. I don't know who it is, but I don't think it's JFK.
Lee Harvey Oswald killed JFK, right? Was Lee Harvey Oswald the Catcher in the Rye guy?
No.
Who's Lee Harvey Oswald?
That's the guy who killed him.
But I thought he read The Catcher in the Rye, and he's like, that prompted him to kill him.
I thought you were saying he wrote it.
No. The Catcher in the Rye was in his possession when he killed her, but tossed the book onto the roof of another building a few blocks away. Who'd he kill? So he killed some girl as well.
Oh, besides JFK?
Yeah, I think that's the story.
That poor girl. No one even knows her.
Oh. Lee Harvey Oswald killed girl. Who did Lee Harvey Oswald kill? It's only gonna be it's only gonna pop up as JFK.
What was it? It'd be two.
Early life, Marine Corps, defection to the Soviet Union. Jesus. Edwin Walker assassination attempt. Mexico, return to Dallas. J.D. Tippett.
J.D. who?
That's another guy. I thought that he killed a girl.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
What's the story? Lee Harvey Oswald and Catcher in the Rye. Catcher in the Rye was in his possession when he killed her, but tossed it. Who did he kill? Oh, no, this is different. Actress Rebecca Schaeffer was shot by Robert John Bardo at her apartment home in Los Angeles in 1989.
1989?
But this is a different person that...
Yeah, that's separate. Those years don't line up.
Who's Rebecca Schaeffer? Does she have any involvement with The Catcher in the Rye?
Oh, God. I don't know.
Anyway, apparently The Catcher in the Rye causes you to kill people. I don't know how we got here.
That's it. Flip it. Send it out. That's.
The point was that people are being too involved in personal lives. Like, another wrestling thing is that the wrestling fans can get so... Wrestling males can get, like, fall so deeply in love with these females that they see. Because they don't separate it mentally, I guess, that wrestling is fake. Or kayfabe, as any wrestling fans might know. So there was a...
What do they call it?
Kayfabe. It's the separation from the wrestling universe and the normal universe. So like whatever happens inside the wrestling universe, everyone knows that it's fake. So when you're younger, you watch wrestling because you believe it's real. When you're older, you watch wrestling because you want to see how the storylines develop. You want to see the action that happens, just like you would watch a good movie. Like, you know where it's going to go. There's not going to be any major twists. There might be some major twists sometimes, but you watch it like you would a good movie. Anyway, there was an attempted break-in case for a female superstar where the guy had just like a bunch of murder weapons and kidnapping weapons with him, and he was just sending her Twitter DMs for a year or something. I can't imagine how many people like Valkyrie, Nico, Pokimane, Belle Delphine, like the fucking DMs that those women get has to be terrifying. The DMs that ugly women get has to be terrifying. Imagine being a pretty girl on the internet.
Imagine being just a girl on the internet. That's gonna be the hardest thing in the world.
It's gonna be the hardest job.
I was we talk about Healthy Gamer a lot on the channel. I think he's really good. He's got a really good channel. He had on Destiny, Lily Pichu, Sweet Anita, XQC, and
all at once.
Devin Nash, all on like a little talk show type thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And they were talking about, I never listened to Sweet Anita. She's very well spoken. Like, and she's like, she's really, yeah, she's really good. I like the way she thinks and articulates herself. She's really good.
The way you said really well spoken, I was like, is this a Tourette's joke? Like, where is this going?
No. I didn't know who she was until I watched this. And that's when I found out she has Tourette's, obviously. But like, she is extremely smart, and she was talking about like the hurdles that women face, and like it's kind of a meme, right? Because you have the League of Legends all girls team. Yeah. It's just like, they didn't even make it out of like whatever the first group stages were, and like that looks bad. But the fact that they made it, I think it was like a PR stunt almost, right? Like they should have just. There's really nothing you could do. It kind of starts from Destiny brought up this point, that it kind of starts from 4 years old, 5 years old. Like instead of buying them the Barbie, you buy them like the N64.
That's interesting.
At least growing up for our generation, because man, I wish I had the link. He linked a study that was from what year is it? 2020. It's probably about 15 to 20 years ago. It was early 2000s, even like late 90s, when the first gen consoles came out. The marketing teams of Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, whatever it was at the time, were marketing specifically to boys because they knew they were the ones that were playing the generations before it. And as boys continued to play it, was when kind of like an insurgence in STEM field kind of happened, kind of arose, and all of these STEM fields started to increase with women population, right? They all started getting in, except for computer science was like the one STEM field that didn't show an increase in women participation at all, and actually saw a decrease.
Interesting.
Predominantly because of the fact that boys had a head start by 8 to 10 years in tinkering around with game consoles and electronics and computers. So girls were so far behind, and it was already such like a toxic masculine culture that why would you even try to bother? Like, if you get in, you're going to be criticized for being a woman. If you succeed, you're going to get it's said you get a free pass because you're a woman. If you're the best in the class, it's because they just they pass you on because you're a woman, and they want to do a PR stunt and say that we have a woman at the top of our STEM class. You should come to our school. It's like you just never win if you're a woman. Like there's a famous woman Overwatch player that just like constantly gets shit just because she's a woman. Like if she's a guy, she'd be like the Shroud of Overwatch,
She's that good?
Yeah, and if you see XQC talk about her, because he was obviously like high on the ladder playing pro as a tank. Like apparently she's like unbelievably like like completely changed the game for girls. Like that's how big it was.
Wow.
I just feel like that just sucks.
Yeah, I've made a video before on this. If you guys want to see it, by the way, youtube.com/noblehamil. But I've made a video before on this, how women leaning in to the e-girl, to the thought, to the big big titty goth GFs,
And that's not who I'm talking about. By the way, let me clarify that.
No, it's I'm making a point from that. The girls that lean into it ruin it for all of the other girls you're talking about. I talked about that in my video. Because it's like Islamophobes, for example. Several bad things happen with Islamic people, and then people start leaning into that, but it's like the majority population like isn't, they're not trying to kill people. Like they're just people. A few bad apples shouldn't ruin the bunch is the classic saying. But the difference is that, like, what would you say, 1 in 3 girls that you meet on the, I've met some really cool girls playing Apex, and I have some really cool girls on the stream and Discord, of course, but there's a lot of e-girls. Like, especially Twitch culture, so gaming culture is built around e-girls right now. There was an old school Call of Duty player, Optic Midnight, who was she was a female, she was incredibly good at Call of Duty. People respected her. She was just like one of the guys. Everyone wanted to be treated the same, so she's just one of the guys. But if she would have been leaning into it, if she would have been trying to like date people in there, like you see happens where professional teams might break up because there's female issues in there. If you see preferential treatment for stream viewers, if you see the hosts going to females, especially as a young woman, like you go on the internet, say you have a 10-year-old daughter, she goes on Twitch, so
rough start.
Rough start. She looks on Twitch, rough start. Let's go right now. We'll go to Twitch. We'll go to just chatting. Look at the category. Was out of this. The third girl that I found. There's 3 girls right here. The third girl that I found was wearing a tube top. Just all tits. Why is this all girls? Well, I guess just chatting is all girls. Oh, Lily Pichu streaming. What? And then there's great streamers like Lily Pichu, who's wearing clothes and is super interactive with their audience and having a great time. And has a ton of viewers. And then you scroll down a little bit more and you're like, you're not wearing a shirt. You're not wearing a shirt. I don't even mind body paint at this point, by the way, because it's still somehow less slutty than these girls that have their legs up and have their tube tops pointing down and are like, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. My dad never loved me. I should have went to church. I was actually scrolling through right now. There's a lot of women wearing shirts. Good for Twitch. There definitely some very obvious ones that are there for not the right reasons, though.
I think you have to wait a few hours for that.
Does it change towards the nighttime?
I think so, especially when the West Coast gets to the nighttime. Not that, you know, yeah. West Coast is more
that's
than
when
East Coast,
that's when their parents go to bed and they can pick up their clothes. So there's an argument for that as well. Go ahead.
There is a lot of like normal. So I want to say, like, what's the percentage of girl gamer? I mean, we could probably look this up. Female gamer. What's the percentage? Female gamers. I don't want it to be mobile though, because I don't really count that, right? So only PC and console, I think. U.S. video game gender statistics.
You're rude.
Okay, so we'll say it's about 60-40. When you go on Twitch in like probably chats and in game, you don't hear 60-40. It's more like 90-10, right? Yeah. Like how many games of Apex do you play where there's a girl?
Like 1 in 20.
In solo queue, I'm saying, not if you queue up with one. Yeah. I think it's probably like 1 in 10, if not 1 in 20 is closer to the average, at least that talk, right? A lot of them, they don't talk just because they're girls, so that eliminates a bunch right off the bat because they don't want to deal with the toxicity that comes with having a high sounding voice, which I don't blame them. Then the next point is when you go to like just chatting, it's actually closer to 50-50. So it's not that the platform is stopping the people, it's more like the culture is stopping the girls from participating in games like that, which is really just like kind of sad, right? Because they could be just as good content creators as guys. Like clearly there's plenty of them wearing clothes.
I think the distinction is very important, though, that Twitch culture is like this and streaming culture is like this, because we have to talk about girls wearing clothes like it's an achievement. I think there lies an issue in that.
Sure, yeah. I would agree with that.
To go back to my initial point, I think it's bad for a 10-year-old girl to get online and see these people behaving like this and being like, is this how I'm supposed to make it in the video game world? Also, I don't even know how I got here. I was scrolling through just chatting. This person is like a VR streamer and is acting as his character. But also the character's barely wearing clothes too, which I think is pretty funny.
That is good.
Which actually leads me to a point about that VR porn girl. I don't fucking know which one.
So many. I really don't
the one that got really famous recently, and she's a VR cam star, and all of the people got really upset at her because they're like, they're taking our jobs. They took our jobs. But it was just she was doing the same thing except she was VR. Project Melody. Yeah, I was gonna say Miko. I don't know what the fuck that is. Yeah, Project Melody. She was just a VR porn star. But like, where would I find this, Noble, so I can stay away from it? Just search Project Melody and you'll find it.
It's with like a K. Project with a K. I don't know why I know it. Just we
gotta do research on this podcast. Come on.
Research beforehand.
Yeah, cam girls were getting mad at her for taking in all the money because she actually wasn't showing anything. She was just showing her 2D, Avatar, not real nipples. I think that's pretty interesting. So I wonder if women, you got to think a lot of women would be jealous of Pokimane because women are fucking catty, especially on a social platform like this.
I'm sure that's where a lot of her female haters come from. I think a lot of them.
I imagine she probably has more female haters than she does male haters, by like a good margin. Dude, females hate each other.
Yeah, but I think that because of her, a lot of them are probably allowed to stream and get views. But being the biggest female streamer means her influence. I think she carries probably almost a full % of viewers when she's online. That's huge.
Yeah.
So. But I think other don't have a choice but to see what she says because that dictates how everyone else treats female streamers.
Like, I guess it's like a lot of envious or greedy people, which we talked about last week. But there's a percentage of there's a percentage of both streamers, like male and female, that just like love streaming. If they could be in a position like Shroud or Summit, they would be so happy to. But like, I don't want to take from those people. If anyone that was watching Pokimane, like a female tube top streamer that watched Pokimane, had the option to have Pokimane stuff, like have her viewership, and take it from her, they would do it in a heartbeat. Like, if it was to spite her, I don't think men would be like that in the same way. There's obviously streamers that I see like buying Instagram followers, buying Twitter followers, doing follow for follow. I just got a message about that earlier. No, I won't follow for follow you. I'm not gonna watch your stream. You don't put in enough work. Just no. Doing follow for follows, or just the chance for women to take down other women in power. There was I believe there was a study recently, like the cause for. Well, I actually talked about it in one of my videos, the eGrow video, youtube.com/noblehamil. I talked about it in the full eGrow video that the most hate that these women on epal.gg or efriend.gg, formerly egirl.gg, I don't know what the website is now, but the most hate that these women got were from other women harassing them. And it was it 100% made sense, but at the same time, it was entirely fascinating to me that because it's business for them. Like, they're trying to bring these other women down so they get out of the way because they're I won't go as far to say whoring themselves out, because one of them will come in here and be like, I take a lot of pride in the work that I do, in acting like I want to fuck these boys. I take a lot of pride in that.
Just weird. Just weird.
It's weird.
But again, I don't blame them for taking advantage of the fact that it's.
No, I don't blame them for taking advantage of the horny. It is. It's free real estate.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Don't blame them for taking advantage.
If they don't do it, someone else will, because that's just the nature of teenage boys.
Yeah, let me be clear.
It's
just men. It's men. It's men. It's men. And if you say you aren't part of that, ER. You're lying. ER.
Go ahead and jerk your gherkin.
Turk your gherk.
Kirky firkin.
I think it's more so just the point that I was trying to make. Like, it gotta be so difficult for women to try and make it in this content creation world, in the streaming world, in this online platform world, because I'll get people that stop in here as a guy and they're like, oh my god, no, but like, take your shirt off a little bit, like, show some more stuff, like, why don't you wear a tank top? That's as a guy. I can't imagine what girls go. Oh, god. Yeah, I can't imagine what girls go through. Like we said before, the creepy DMs. But so you get, if you're a mildly attractive girl on Twitch, even if you're wearing a shirt, like, I can't imagine the creep mail that Lily Pichu gets, because she fits like a perfect fetish role for online weeaboos. Oh, God, a high voice girl that likes anime. She's tiny. She has circle lenses. She's cute. Like, come on.
That's right up a lot of people's alleys.
Yeah. So if you're mildly cute, you're gonna get harassment. If you have a boyfriend, you're gonna get harassment.
If you resemble anyone,
yeah,
like any character or anything like that.
If you resemble anyone, you're gonna get harassment. If you're a girl in a position of power, you're gonna get harassment. So like, every single angle. Again, it's talking about like why Pokemon probably doesn't have any friends. Could you imagine having to deal with all those things and then thinking that you meet some nice girlfriends? I've been fucked over a little bit recently, which I'll tell you off stream, by dudes just like trying to climb up to positions of power, and like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I'm not that. I will call you on your bullshit and then I'll just walk away, because that's not the way to go about it. But there's other women challenging you instead of building you up. Like, I would hate that. For people that you claim to be your friends, or you're trying to create relationships, especially if you're doing co-streams and you're like, oh my god, we can grow together, it's going to be so fun. But they're just trying to stab you in the back as soon as possible because they want what you want. The difference is that these women, I'll say Pokemon's an e-girl, I don't mind. These e-girl streamers, they all have the exact same target audience. So that could be why they're even cattier. Like, everyone's trying to pull in the same people. Also, do you find it funny that Casey Tron was like the original and now she does not get... She just does fat bong rips for Jesus on her streams now?
Honestly, respect it. No, yeah. It's just like the curse of the first. Yeah, she streams. She's always on the Austin show, formerly known as the Raj show.
Yeah, why did he change that?
I was he didn't want to offend anyone because he's not like Indian, I guess, or like full Indian, so he didn't want Raj to offend anyone.
She only has 81,000 followers on Twitter. Her most recent post is her doing a doink in Amish. That's so funny. Her most recent post is her loving weed.
That's great. I think, she's got her niche and that's it.
There's she like went from a full e-girl to like just a dirty. She just seems like a dirty person.
I mean, what can you do?
She also makes a lot more money than me, so fuck you, Noble, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, just take fat bong rips for Jesus at some point.
I think she's playing games now, though. So she's got time for her.
And like that's something else too that you get judged for. If you play a game and you get a rank that people don't think you should, you got carried.
And to be fair, though, that's another tough one too.
Like, I've seen people criticize like Valkyrie for getting a rank because she'll like play with friends, and then off stream, like she felt so guilty that she solo queued to get to the same rank, and people said it's because she like abused a champ that was meta at the time. Like you can't win, so
What
there's
rank
no
did she
point.
get?
I don't know. It was I
As
don't
long
even
as
know
it's
if it
not,
was
as long as
games
it's
or
not
something.
higher than me, because girls can't do that.
I mean, Pokemon got Diamond 1.
That
Did
one's
you not
hard
want
for
to
me
hear
to
that?
process because I've watched her play the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it'd be like that sometimes.
I've watched her play the game, so that one's hard for me to process. Um, that's a rough one too because like the that's so crazy. So it's the percentage of girls that aren't tube top streamers, then the percentage of girls that aren't whoring themselves out to their audience, then the percentage of girls that are also good at video games too. There's probably like 50 channels on Twitch that fit that criteria. Like it's not big. There's one good, two good female Apex streamers that I know of, and the Apex category has 9 million followers. And there's two
Yeah.
girls I can think of off the top of my head that are consistently good at the game, and they both wear clothes.
Yeah, they I think they just eat up the like just chatting section, you know, like cooking section. Like it's hard when you're the minority, but I think they
Kyle Jordan, it's hard being a minority.
thank you. I'll be here all week. But yeah, like it's just, you know, it's hard to empathize because we're not women.
Speak for yourself, laddie.
Laddie?
All right, get me off stream news. Get me off. Get me off. Get me away from this topic.
It's kind of like our whole bag, but no, our whole bag is that our bag is never one thing. We have multiple bags for any time.
A lot of bags. I haven't known that bags.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's move on.
I guess baggage is different than bags.
Well, ain't that the truth? This guy's got more baggage than an airport. All right, sorry.
Oh.
It's the first thing that came to mind. It can't be that bad.
Oh.
Am I getting booed to the guy?
Just hit me with a different topic.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll talk about one that I think we actually probably have some controversial opinions on, and not that each of us
the geopolitical climate in the West Andes.
No, we're pretty clear that we have a similar stance on that.
Yeah. Seriously, like, figure it out, boys.
I think we're gonna have I want to say different opinions.
Don't disagree with me.
I do have a disagreement, yeah. But it's like it's mild. It's not a hot take. It's like lukewarm at best, you know.
You tell me your opinion first, and I'll try my best to agree with you.
Oh God! All right, Hitler wasn't that. I can't say it. I don't want that clipped out there. Come on. No. So this is something we've been meaning to talk about, but we kind of just never. I guess. I don't know if we ever wanted to talk about it. That's probably not true. It's just it never came up. Participation trophies and today's sort of culture of not having a feeling of defeat or being able to like learn from losing. Just kind of always
because you already know my opinion.
Yeah. I'm just gonna play devil avocado here, but I think so. To give it some framework, I'd rather start with sort of general and then get into more specifics because not everything has participation trophies. The only ones that we ever talk about are awards, like scholastic awards, where people are getting scholarships, and second and third place are also getting scholarships where that's never happened before. In sports, where teams are given awards, so same, like it sort of trickles down. I think the first instance of this was like, you could probably relate to this from from early on in childhood, the Hustler Award or something to that sort. Everyone uses their different terms. The hardest working, they always give to like the last place team or the last place person. Did you ever have that award?
No, I was a fucking winner, Kyle. I've always been a winner.
So, if you weren't in that winner category, it was always a last place thing. Like, yeah, and the award
The slowest
for
and fattest
hardest worker, yeah, is Johnny No Hands because he couldn't catch a ball. So whatever it is, that was, I think, like the first sort of example of it. But now it's come to the point where I could say this, and I'm not like I'm not salty about it. It is too soft nowadays. I don't think that's going to permanently be the way things are. I think it's cyclical. But as of right now, I think we're at a lull where things are very PC. You have to watch what you say at all times. I don't think this is the way it's going to stay. I don't think it'll go back to the point where bullying is the regular. I think it's sort of a fine line that shouldn't be crossed. But that's sort of my take on participation trophies, at least.
Let me tell you why your kids are pussies. I hate participation awards. I hate participate. The losers trophy is what it's called by the older generations now. The boomer
Older
era.
generations probably shouldn't say anything because they just like ruin the economy, right?
Hey, leave them alone. They're not going to be able to watch this. Come on.
Yeah, it's true. They don't know how to click on a website.
Pro
bullying? Luke's pro bullying. Yeah, and that's where I disagree with you guys.
I hate participation awards. It is the bitch trophy. It's the loser trophy. It's the bitch trophy. It's the thanks for showing up trophy. I don't want that shit. I don't want my kids to have that because I think that it teaches complacency.
Yeah.
There's nothing in life for getting 6th place. Maybe 2nd place, maybe you make a top 3 or something, but you don't get rewarded for being a middle of the pack person. It teaches young kids that they can just do okay. Like, they say C's get degrees. Like, it's true. But in high school, I was incredible at math, and I don't know if you know this. This is a random fact I tell people every now and again. In my 10th grade test in English, I got the highest score in the history of my school ever. And it brought me zero excitement because I was like, yeah!
Was it 100? I don't understand.
It was based on a rating system. I don't know. Fuck! My own genius disrupted me. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm so excited about English. And then I got like a D in history and brought it up to a high C and like a C in science. Like, okay. Like I know what I like, I know what I'm gonna be good at, but I'm not gonna be a pretender and bullshit myself, and I'm gonna teach my kids the same way. I'm not gonna
say you're not like the other, yeah.
Oh, times 2. I'm not gonna be a fucking pretender. I'm not gonna reward my kids for doing something that people should be able to do. And that doesn't mean like there's a difference between that. When my kid's 2 years old, it's like, oh my god, Morty, you're learning at Morty's what I have to name my kid, by the way. Lost a bet. It's like, oh my god, Morty, you're using the potty. I'm so proud of you. There's a difference between saying I'm so proud of you when he's 2 years old and then he's 16 and being like, congratulations, Morty, you didn't shit your pants. Like, that's what I feel is an extension of participation trophies, because you're rewarding the kids. Luke, don't laugh at his jokes. I'll keep saying them. You're rewarding the kids for just being humans. Like, you shouldn't reward people for existing. You should reward people for hard work. You should reward people for dedication. You should reward people for putting their mind to something and getting a positive outcome from it. And if they lose or if they fail, that's when you're supposed to teach them something. You're not supposed to give someone a present when they're
You take out the
You,
belt.
you
and
beat the shit out of the kid. It's like, it's the same thing as having a discussion or an argument with somebody. When someone's wrong, I'm fucking calling you out because every time we argue, you suck at being wrong. My dad brought this up the other day. He said whenever he's talking with his buddy and he admits that he's wrong, he goes, "No, I can't do this. I want to yell at you more. I want to argue more. Fight back with me." That's what happens when you grow up with brothers, though.
You do that with Cody.
When you grew up traditionally, I try and stop arguing with him, and he keeps going. He's a little fucking pest in my side. When you grow up traditionally, or when you grow up with brothers, they're not happy with being right. Like, I've come to the point where I've reached my own maturity, where I'm right, whatever, we move on, we're happy. But if you can't admit fault, it's like, oh, I have to fight again. Like, my hands start rolling, I have to fight again. It gets crazy. Anyway, as I was saying, it's the same teaching method to an argument. Like, if someone makes a mistake, if somebody's wrong, as my dad said, bullying builds character, to a degree. Depends if you're beating the shit out of a kid.
Yeah, I highly disagree.
They think everyone can win and doesn't prepare them for the real world where nobody gives a shit whether you succeed or not. I agree with that in a more feathered version, I would say. I agree with that wholeheartedly because, like, you're getting participation trophies your whole life. It's, we don't have to go too far into this if you're uncomfortable with it, but it's the same parents that are allowing their kids to get full sexual transitions at, like, 11 years old, which is fucking absolutely mind-boggling to me, that these kids have undeveloped brains and you're going to put that on them. You're teaching them it's okay to fail. You're teaching them it's okay to be outlandish. You're teaching them that it's okay to make mistakes and there won't be repercussions for them. These are the same, and we talked about this, I believe, last week or 2 weeks ago. These are the same parents, the same fucking parents that when their kids fuck up, the teachers go to the school and said, "Hey teacher, what are you doing wrong? My kid is perfect. What are you doing wrong?" That fucks up that kid. That completely ruins that kid. It's in this whole, I guess you could say label or section or ideal. It's within this whole ideal of participation or participation trophies or PC culture, that it takes the blame away from the child because you don't want to hurt the child's feelings because the child is too sensitive, and you're growing up with overly sensitive parents and an overly sensitive culture to where the kid won't be able to operate, and then he keeps continuing to be bullied or get his feelings hurt, which makes him lean further into his parents trying to take care of him, and he goes further this way instead of going out to the real world, which is a big issue with Japanese kids and NEETs. I'm sure you know what that is. And if you don't know what NEETs are in Japan, it's basically kids that are so scared. Well, it's kids that fail in life. They get too sensitive. They turn into adults, and they're so scared to face the outside world that they are not prepared to leave their house. So they just let the days wash away, or they live with their parents. They live on their parents' bill, and it completely destroys them from the inside out. They're afraid of the outside because they're afraid of what the real world looks like, because no one is teaching them how incredibly difficult the real world is, the pressures of society, and they just kind of crumble.
Yeah, and you can't blame the kids for that. That's a parenting issue.
It's fucked, right? Because they say you can't choose your parents, but there's so much influence. Like, I have core values that my parents taught me. I have manners. I am always polite to my elders. I give respect to people unless it's not given back to me. Those are 3 core values that you could teach any kid, and that will set them up for life. Then from there, there was many things I disagreed with, so I took my own path and I built myself into a decent young man. But like I said before, you have these kids that are like, I want to wear a dress, or I want to wear, it's little boys like, I want to wear a dress, or I want to wear high heels. Well, Timmy, you're 12 years old. How about you turn into Tamina? How about we get you a surgery now? Like, these kids, they can't think. Man, it's crazy. And these parents have so much of an influence, and they're trying. I would like to think that some of them are good-natured. They try so hard to be good-natured and good influence, and they're like, well, I want to give him what he wants because I didn't have it that same way when I was a kid. But you need to discipline the child. You need to teach him.
Good-natured doesn't imply that what they're doing is right. Right, because good natured is 100% what your personal belief follows and your own morals. So you could think you're being the best person in the world, but you don't know what they want and what they need. But you're their parent, and you're responsible for them until they're at least 18.
We should have parenting license. I wholeheartedly agree.
Parenting is like one of the hardest things in the world. It should
It's
absolutely have something.
we talked
Like
about it. Yeah, if you have to have a license to
we
drive
have
a car, you should have to have an animal license because so many people own pets just let them die. It's
abuse animals.
fucking mind-boggling how many people abuse animals. Like there should be a requirement that you have to have a pet first, or you should have to shelter a puppy for a year before you can have a kid. I think that, I mean, it'll never be enforced, but you should have to.
Oh, yeah.
You should have to have like some type of stability. You should have to have some type of income, because what keeps happening in these lower income areas is women that don't know any better, because it's cyclical. It's what they were taught. They just keep shitting out kids. They keep getting welfare. Those kids shit out kids, and it just goes on forever because that's what they were taught. They don't know how to move out of that angle.
Well, that's that's a multitude of problems. That's not just like a cyclical issue. That's because they live in areas where education is funded about 10% of what actually education is given by both federal and state governments. So you can't really blame the teachers. It is a parenting issue, but that's just sort of the way the system's set up.
Is it?
It's so easy for us to think of reproduction the way that we do and having sex and everything, but it doesn't actually. They don't process it the same way because they didn't have an education and they didn't have a society that teaches them, proper use of
Kyle,
contraceptives
I
and how
went
to.
to a Catholic school for 9 years. I'm still a virgin, and I'm so afraid to have sex. I don't know where anything goes. Terrifying. Is it too utopian to think about some sort of parental license? Is that too utopian of a thought?
I don't know if a license is really
Or
necessary.
some
There
sort
has
of requirements or some sort of test? I'd prefer
yeah.
that
I
for
think
animals.
the first thing is that people have to stop reproducing at such a high rate. Stop
When are
stop
we
messing up
supposed
stop messing up your own life to where you're like, oh, you try and just spit out 3 of them. Like
when are we supposed to curve down? Is it like at 9 billion? Because what
I
is our,
don't know.
are we at like 8 right now?
We're under 8, like 7.7, 7.8. No, you're allowed to discipline your kids.
7.6.
You're just not allowed to take out your belt and slap them over the head with it.
Well,
Like
that was in
that's
2018 was 7.6. Crazy.
yeah, that's
Like,
I think licensing probably would never pass in my freedoms, but
the
something
world
something
population is projected to reach 8.5 billion by 2030, 9.7 billion by 2050, and exceed 11 billion in 2100.
oh, we're gone by then. Who cares? It's not our problem.
Will I be dead in 80 years? Yeah, I'll be
I'll,
dead in like 6.
I'll be dead. I'll be dead for sure. I'm not making it past 100.
That's the thing about like living in those fucking big cities too. Like I could never. But our job, what will be your future job, Kyle, and the job that we have right now.
It's me because I fucked up. Yeah, so that's personal anecdotes. You can't say like nobody's allowed to discipline the kids. Like my dad beat me and I'm fine. Like sure, but the majority don't. You just don't hear about them, right? Like I could show you 99 studies for why physically disciplining your kids is bad and one positive one. You can't be like, oh well, this one says I'm fine.
Do you believe in? I know that you got physically disciplined. Do you believe in that? I know Cody's not going to. I don't. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to. I think
I
probably.
won't. All the scientific, 99% of the scientific studies say that it actually causes more issues than fixes earlier issues that they're having. I think you need to learn to be patient with kids, and there's tons of other ways to discipline your kids.
The issue is right. Like I think about it exactly like this. Kid spills milk. Well, we'll take it further than that. Kids drawing all over the walls after you told him for days and days not to play with markers. You sit him
Luke's
down.
right wing, by the way.
What?
Luke's right wing, by the way.
Is he?
Yeah.
No. You spank the kid. But I think that just incites fear, right?
Yeah, there's other ways to earn respect from a child than fear, right? Because
Like,
you're a parent, you're not their friend, and I think, I'll give you that. I think a lot of parents are too friendly with their children. They try to be their best friend, which I don't think is what you're supposed to. And again, I'm not a parent, so I don't know what's best. This is just
allegedly.
my opinion on what the what parents should do and what I think, what would work. Um, it's it's very hard. It requires a lot of patience, but you don't have to rule through fear. I think being a little afraid of, disappointing your parents or messing up is fine, you know?
Gotta have some type
But
of fear so the kid knows if they fuck up that fear's in the back of their head. Like, oh shit. See,
it
there's a
doesn't
difference. You wanna take it? It
well,
seems
yeah,
like you're
so
ready to jump on it.
here's the thing. You don't need them to be afraid of pain. Have them be afraid of disappointment, right? Have them be afraid of failure. If you have this set up so they're afraid of pain, you know, what's going to happen when the father's not there anymore and there is no one to discipline them and there's no one to give them the pain, right?
Yeah,
Then what
you
happens?
need
They
to
just go do
teach
whatever they want.
you need to teach an honest fear
Th-
through
Their their
respect.
their boss is not gonna beat them. Your boss is gonna say, if you don't do this, like, you're fired. But like, no, I don't care if I'm fired. Like, as long as you don't hit me.
Yeah,
Your boss is like, yeah, sure, you're fired. Like, I'm not gonna hit you. I just don't care.
I think that you need to teach them um, a fear through respect, and maybe not so far as to take the word fear, but there's a certain respect that I have for my friends where I won't bring up certain things. I'll use Kyle for an example because Kyle and I say fucked up shit to each other. Kyle and I say absolutely everything to
Pretty much
each other.
daily.
But
Yeah.
there's one thing, like we'll tease each other about our families all the time. There's like no jokes between us. There's a difference between like teasing each other about families and telling all the jokes we do and going into our histories about women versus me like legitimately ragging on his parents or like legitimately ragging on his upbringing. It's not necessarily because I have a fearful respect of that. It's just from the bond that we've created, from the relationship we've had, I have enough respect to understand there is a very Kyle and I probably have two boundaries between each other, and you just don't go too far in that. Like I've never even brought it up because never would. But that's just not something I do. I respect my friend. This is like this is like family to me. So it's the same way with my own kids that they'll understand the lines of respect. Um, say you have a toddler that's hitting, for example. Be like, for my kid specifically, I'm gonna teach him how to punch because I grew up with Muay Thai. We'll read Austin's question, or we'll read Austin's thing in a second. Um, I'll be like, if you want to hit something, go hit the heavy bag, or go hit the pads, or I'll hold pads for you. If you want to hit me, then you can understand we're play fighting, and like we'll wrestle, and that's fine. If you're gonna go hit other people, then I need you to understand that I'm going to put you in a combat sport where people hit you back. Like, this is not always the life that you will have. You can't go around hitting people on the playground because you have like kindergarten teachers going, no, you can't hit people. No, you can't hit people. It's not good. You can hit people. There's just a difference between when you're 5 years old and you're playing around and you're 20 years old and someone's doing that at a bar and you never learn to not hit people. It's just the correct discipline through respect. I don't think
Yeah.
that fear necessarily needs to play a part in it. It's just a correct discipline through respect.
And I
Honestly,
think that's
go
also
ahead.
a personal experience for you because of the occupation, right? It was a lot easier for him to talk about something he knows to you. Not to say that, I shouldn't say easy, right? It probably wasn't easy at all. Probably required a lot of patience and a lot of discipline not to just smack you over the head because you're a moron.
I still
You
no
know,
that doesn't translate. That doesn't translate. That story was me talking about my kids. I got smacked over the head a lot.
yeah, no, I'm saying that.
Honestly, it was both for me. I never wanted to disappoint my dad. I never did some sort of physical discipline. If I did, some sort of was also involved. I'm always like a belt opening or something like that. They'd take me to baseball practice and have me run for an hour. See, that's different. That's different. That
Yeah,
teaches discipline in a different way.
that's just
There when
that's negative reinforcement. That's what that is.
yeah, when
It's not always a bad thing. Any kind of reinforcement is good, but you want both positive and negative reinforcement.
When we're talking about physical discipline, it more so means hitting or striking somebody. Because
Yeah,
I had a friend
that's
that
that's
grew
what I was
up
like.
and he would get a paddle taken to his ass, and it's like that hurts.
Jeez.
Like I got my head knocked around. Like this isn't fun. It just made me cry. It's like it made me spite. I'm also the most spiteful person on the planet, by the way. It made me spiteful. It
It's true.
hey, I'm
Sorry.
very spiteful. It made me spiteful. It made me angry, and I had to work through those things for a lot. I think that it causes a lot of issues because it's like it's people you love that are. I guess you wouldn't go so far as to say actively, but it's people that you love and they're hurting you. It's the same thing like when someone you care about is raising your voice to you. Like, why the fuck? I'm not gonna give you respect right now. Why the fuck are you yelling? I don't yell at my friends seriously. I'll yell at my friends that talk shit and will be silly all the time, but I'm gonna yell at my friends
Yeah,
seriously.
that's
I'm not a fucking toddler.
that's in a like a friendly banter environment. But um, that to me is also very different from bullying. Like I think guys can joke around with each other and call each other names, you know. But if there's ever a point where like all of a sudden it's gone too far and the kid's like, hey, listen, like you're going too far, and you don't stop, then yeah, that's bullying. That's gonna cause like harm to him. That's gonna cause issues. But I'm not saying you shouldn't. I can't call Cody names and he can't like rip back at me and make jokes
Cody
and
can't make jokes though.
yeah, it's just like it's just banter.
I fucking hate participation trophies, Kyle.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really like is advocating for participation trophies.
I disagree strongly. White women definitely are.
Well, that's a broad generalization.
There's a joke going around. It's not a broad generalization. White women definitely are. There's a joke going around right now that white women are the most upset for the most entitled people on the planet, and I thought that that was so fucking funny because like white
Wait,
women are
what
like
did you say?
white women are the most of all the groups on the planet. White women are the most upset for having the most entitlement. Like white women have every opportunity going for them right now. It's like gay men in the next 5 years or so. Like being a gay man in Hollywood, they're just cruising.
I mean, I don't know if I
What I'm
necessarily
trying to
agree.
tell you is I'm moving to Hollywood, Kyle. uh, yeah, I think because white women are so quick to advocate for change right now, but they're also the same people that don't realize the level of entitlement they have. Do you see what's going on with Ellen? Speaking of white
it's
women,
it's before we go on to that, it's the problem with a lot of groups of people that talk. It's always the worst ones that are the loudest. It's always the extremists that are the loudest, right? That's why you have people like both ends of the political spectrum that are always on the news blabbering about, you know, the fact that, maybe only women should run the country because they're going to make better decisions, or then, maybe we should just not have government and people should just barter for things. Like,
we
it's
won't
always
go
the extreme people.
we won't go too far into it. But are you gonna vote? I just want to ask.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, for like my guy though, right? Like not the other guy. For like the guy that I
Whoa.
like. Because like
Said
if
it
you
was a guy.
it,
Oh, come on, you never know.
what were we
But why is spanking in quotes, Luke? Is that
into
like a
it?
term that is
He's
that like a
into
term
it.
I don't
Thanks,
know?
Megan. Should go hand in hand in good balance.
Uh,
I don't
I
know.
I
He's
don't
like,
know if
I don't
he
know.
actually does he actually mean like, look, I know your girlfriend, so it's getting kind of weird.
It's okay, Luke. My
Like,
girlfriend also.
are you positively reinforcing her? Are you Pavloving her? Is that what you're doing? We were talking about this earlier in our group chat.
Keep spanking me. You have two. You're in another group chat. I'm gonna be offended.
I'm in like 4 group chat. I'm in a 20-person group chat that I don't want to be a part of, but I can't remove myself.
You're a
I
bad
have
friend. You've hurt my
I have it.
feelings.
I've had it muted, and there's like 200 unread messages.
You're just in another group chat. That's cool that you're like that.
Yeah, word.
It's cool. It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Honestly, it's cool.
If I could add you and torch you, I would, but I don't know how to add people.
If you added me, I'd block your number.
All right, gotta figure out how to add you.
Who would put up with all your bullshit if you didn't have me? Your girlfriend? Real question here, and we don't have to get into it all the way, but how can someone vote for a guy who can't remember his own name for president? Just want to see y'all's thoughts on it. That's a tough one going on right now. It's mostly, as far as I know, there are many forms of spanking. I think Luke is trying to really talk. Do you just want to ignore Luke's question? He's getting weird. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, Luke. Let's hear what you gotta say. Take your time.
Keep
Come
talking.
up with one
Luke.
long message. Let me get my recording device going.
It's on stream, you fuck.
I need it so I could submit it. I need to have the credit for exposing him.
I can send it to you.
You think I trust you with that kind of information? That's millions of dollars worth of information.
I hate you. I hate you. Anyway, back to what Austin said in chat. Real question here, and we don't have to get all the way into it, but how can someone vote for a guy who can't remember his own name for president? Just want to see y'all's thoughts on this. I think as being as impartial as possible. Kyle, please correct me if I'm wrong. Being as impartial as possible.
You do that.
When you get to the age of 80 years old, or however, I believe both presidential candidates are in their high 70s, you're going to...
They're the oldest running candidates ever.
You're going to forget a lot of things. You're going to mess up a lot of things. You won't be able to take care of your health in the same way. For being...
Okay.
For being...
Wait, did you forget? How old are you?
I'm trying to be very specific.
Yeah, sure.
For being in the position that Donald Trump is in, aside from what people see on Twitter, there are very many good things that he has done. However,
like very many.
However, it's not for you, Austin, it's for my career. However, the good comes with the bad. He's also done a lot of things that people disagree with, which is okay. On the other side, Joe Biden, again, being as impartial as possible, the Democratic Party is very corrupt right now in that they are only willing to push candidates that they feel is right. They're pushing candidates that might not be the best for the people, rather what is best for the Democratic Party, rather who has done the most time. That's why you saw Hillary Clinton being pushed 4 years ago, and there was video proof of her having strokes on camera, which was an absolute mess. Now, I guess you could say that they cucked Bernie Sanders again, but there's certain things that he didn't vote on, which is a whole different thing that I'll tell you about later, Kyle, if I remember. I'm
pretty well informed when it comes to that kind of stuff. I've been reading into it over the last year.
Look into it. Joe Biden, on the other hand, if Joe Biden was my grandfather, I would want him to be in a home. He is not equipped to move without help. He probably needs 24/7 help. It's really whether or not you want to vote for Kamala Harris, I believe. It's very... I think a big part of the issue is that, like, if you're looking at Mark Dice or Ben Shapiro or Steven Crowder or Joe Rogan, who's more leaning towards the center, 3 of the aforementioned people were all right-leaning. They're all advocating for President Trump to have another term. They are all challenging the extreme left, and even Joe Rogan leaning more towards the middle, who has found himself in political waters as his podcast continues to turn into modern-day Oprah. He continues to talk about the extreme left. I think a large issue is that people, right and left, are basically the same. They're politicians. I agree wholeheartedly, but the extremism and the politically correct culture is different, Luke, and that's what people are afraid of. There's many discussions about gun stores in LA right now just being packed with lines constantly because people are terrified. People are absolutely terrified with how the left is moving right now, how the extreme left is moving right now, the way that they are operating, how they feel that protests need to lead to riots, need to lead diluting. It's like people are genuinely scared. The difference being, and what many people outside of the scope and the realm of Twitter seem to not understand, is that a large majority of the people that aren't on Twitter are voting right, and they are voting hard right. They're voting for that hard R. They're voting hard right. Because they see the way that the country is changing. They see the snowflake mentality or the politically correctness, and these people don't have a Twitter because they don't have time for that. Usually the people that spend all that time on Twitter anyway don't have jobs. I just want to put that out there. If you spend that much time on social media, you probably don't have a job. You're probably a kid. But again, to that, a lot of these people that are posting on all the social media about how they can't wait to support Joe Biden as a candidate, or rather Kamala Harris as a candidate, these people can't vote. Like they're not old enough. You have to think about the scope of 13 to 17-year-olds that are all over Twitter blasting this political drivel that they fucking read in one transgender studies class, or all these kids that are going to college campuses now that are just completely littered with hard left-leaning agendas. I'll get to that in a second.
The ones on college campuses can vote. They're,
yeah.
You could.
But I mean, you could talk about high school kids touring college campuses too.
Yeah.
I actually really want to get your opinion on that in a second. But as I was saying, I think that it is very difficult for these people, man, whose job is the internet, since people on the internet all the time don't have jobs. There's a difference between being on Twitter and like doing. I mean, I'm very clear.
And posting social media updates.
Yeah, there's a difference between making content and just like. Kyle and I talked about this a few weeks ago about responding to Ariana Grande's tweet in 6 seconds. Like, that's terrifying that you have that much time on your hands. I think it's going to be shocking. I won't disclose. I'll tell my friends. I won't disclose on a public platform as of right now who I'm going to vote for, because I think it's shocking that that so many people are leaning towards one side. It's mostly kids that are leaning towards one side because they don't want the other guy to win. But personally, I think that Joe Biden would be unfit to be a presidential candidate. So rather than Joe Biden versus Donald Trump, it seems to be Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump. Also, I really wanted to talk to you about that, Kyle. What do you think? I had this conversation with somebody recently, and I've actually been running into this conversation a lot. What do you think about college campuses being so politically left-leaning now? Where kids are going to school because one of my father's friends is a doctor, and his kids went off to school, and they came back and they're like, Donald Trump is the Antichrist. I like the left. I like the left.
Yeah, so
was it that way when you were in school, like 5 or 6 years ago?
It not necessarily my school, but that's been I guess a preconceived notion for years now, is that you go away to school, and when you're around a group of people, you tend to now there are college campuses that are notoriously right wing too. It's not just left, but majority are liberal colleges. Obviously, liberal ideas tend to be left leaning. I don't know what it is. Like, I couldn't pinpoint exactly what it is.
Can I interject for a second, because I think this will give you a thinking point?
Sure.
Could it be that the leftist politically correctness has more inclusive behavior, therefore it's easier to make friends or easier to be in a social circle if you just say, I mean, because all these kids you have to figure are probably on Twitter. If you go into a political group and you say, I'm all for trans rights, Donald Trump bad, Orange Man bad. Like, do you think that'd be easier to make friends and get along with people?
I don't know if I'd necessarily say that.
Because it's a lot of dumb, impressionable kids.
Yes. I mean...
Yeah.
I don't necessarily say they're dumb, right?
Naive, impressionable kids, rather.
Naive, I think, is better. I don't think it is fair to say dumb. They did go to college. Not that it's really hard to do nowadays. But that stigmatism has been around when it was kind of hard to go to college.
Keep talking. I'm gonna look some stuff up.
Yeah, sure. So it's been around for a while. I don't know the exact percentage. I want to say it was probably like 50 to 70 within the last 10 years, and now it's gone up to even more, just because jobs are requiring that you have, GED, two associates, bachelors, whatever job you're applying for, unless it's like a trade job, right? Unless they're like a plumber, electrician, anything of that sort. You need some sort of college education. So more people than probably should be in colleges are going to colleges. School's not for everyone, and if you're not a good student, you're not interested in learning, you shouldn't go to college. It is a higher learning for a reason. Now, maybe that definition has changed just because of the way society is now. The issue, I don't think it's college's fault. I think they're doing, they're businesses. They're doing whatever they can to get the most money they can. That's why they still send me stuff a few times a year asking for money when I already paid them dozens of thousands of dollars. Like the audacity they have. What, there's a comedian, John Mulaney. You know John Mulaney?
Yes.
He has a very, very awesome joke about how he had $120,000 stolen from him throughout college because he paid $15,000 a semester
That's
for
depressing.
4 years. And he's like, I got nothing from it. Like, he ended up obviously becoming a comedian, so he had to pay them back. He's like, they stole $120,000 of me, and he's like, I blacked out through most of it. And they have the nerve to ask once a month for more money. He's like, you want to talk about bullies? Like, they're the real bullies.
That's funny.
One of the things, the kids are going to college anyways, unless you're going to be a doctor or something of the nature. Trade schools, I mean,
I'm
yes,
not for college. Kyle can answer this. I completely agree with you. I'm not for college
sure.
at all.
So,
Interjection to my own point. You only go to college for the social situation to make friends. I think that there's way better ways to get a career. I think college is just 4 more years to fuck around as of right now.
Sure. I think because of what jobs are requiring of you, you have to go to college if you don't want to be in the trade schools. Now, obviously, if you need to go for doctor, lawyer,
I disagree.
yeah, that stuff is in. That stuff is, there's nothing you can do about that. You need the extra 6 years of learning because that's, you have a higher responsibility. Being in the debt sucks, but you get paid extra to make up for it. And you have to suffer,
I think,
shitty years of your
that
life.
it's quicker to get a. I think it's the division, excuse me, between blue collar jobs and white collar jobs. I think if you want to work in a trade, I think if you, like, for example, I guess there are some fashion schools you go to, but you still do that at a more like a trade school. If you want to go to culinary school, that's going to take a year or two. If you want to be an esthetician, it's going to be a year or two. If you want to work a blue collar job, that's going to be a year or two. If you want to be a personal trainer, that's going to be a year or two. 4-year degrees, 4-year universities seem like you're often ending up with an office job. It seems to be that's where I wanted. No, division would still be better. I think that's where there seems to be a division between the two. That you will more often be working a blue collar job if you don't go to college. Like, what mechanics are going to college?
Yeah, I don't know what you're getting at though. So why does that mean kids shouldn't go to college?
I wasn't saying that's not why kids should go to college. I think that it's very, if you want, it's the difference between going to college. Like, if you are for the blue collar lifestyle, then I think that you should stay away from college because you don't need to go to college to have all these other jobs. I think going to college is specifically, it's gonna leave you with a desk job. You went to college and you have a desk job. Fucking got him.
Well, yeah.
But you're also the future host of 2 Girls, 1 Lausanne.
I've also had 4 different full-time jobs since I left college, and not all of them were desk jobs.
Also, too many jobs require college degrees. Yes and no, because that also kind of depends where you're looking. Like, if you want to be a manager at a certain place or a technician at a certain place end up getting a degree in liberal arts. What even is that? I don't think people that have degrees in liberal arts know what degrees in liberal arts mean, Austin.
It's like a I think I need to look up the stats for this, honestly. I don't know off the top of my head. The problem is you're telling a kid that he has to know what he wants to do by 18 years old, which I'm willing to say 40 to 50% of people don't know what they want to do when they grow up, which is a terrible thing, but it's also a terrible pressure to have.
So are you saying, is this
Because
for or against going to college?
it's kind of neither. I mean, I think it's probably for, because I think people need, you can only get so much experience staying in your hometown, going to your high school, being with the same people and having the same teachers and a limited selection of classes.
That's the
I,
issue where I think it's
well,
more like college seems to be more of a social experience than education in modern
and I
times.
don't think that's a bad thing. I
I don't
don't
think
think
that's a
it's
bad thing either.
a social thing. There is, you know, it's not just a social learning experience. And I don't think you're saying that. I think you're saying it's predominantly, if I'm understanding you correctly, it's mostly for a social experience. Is that what you're saying?
I honestly, yeah, I guess I'll go on the record saying that right now until someone's able to change my mind. But when I think of going, like, if unless you're going to get to, unless you're going there for to be an athlete, no one's going to Arizona State University to major in biomechanics. You're going to Arizona State University to get fucked up for 4 years and then get a
So
degree in art.
I mean, sure, I get, I assume there are people that do that. But going off Luke's point, getting a job to try and figure out or spend 15,000 to experiment, it's not an experiment. It's, I'm going to take a whole bunch. I'm paying for,
You are going to have something.
yes, at least you're going to have a degree to go out and get an entry level job, which puts you ahead of other people who don't have a degree.
But
Uh,
the tough
the reality,
situation.
well,
Go ahead.
hold on. The reality is you're going to get hired because you have a college degree before people that aren't. Now, I'm not saying whether that's right or not, whether you're smarter because you have a college degree. That it doesn't matter because jobs don't care about that. That's the reality. They're going to take the guy with the college degree over the person that doesn't. Now, when it comes to figuring out what you want to do, the I mean, you say shouldn't require that, but you know, where does the progress come from? Where does the standard that we should be evolving come from? Most of the jobs are being converted into technology. So maybe most jobs don't require that, but instead they should require that you have a certain level of experience in computers, or you have a certain level of experience in science, or whatever it is their job goes towards. Um, go ahead.
Whatever
Sorry.
jobs that requires a degree, to the point, and I have no debt from school. Yeah, that's what happened with. So my experiment, instead of being $1,500, Luke, was a $700 experiment because I went to school to be a personal trainer, and I was like, I fucking hate school. Like if I would have went to college, I would have just dropped out. This sucks.
Yeah.
This is a complete waste of time for me. Because college certainly isn't for everyone, but also you have to learn the common or the base curriculum too, and you still have to fucking learn your times tables when you're like 22 years old, which just fucks me in my head. Like, why am I doing this? This isn't relevant to me. I also have a whole thing on school too, to where I don't think like a lot of schooling is relevant after high school. I think you should start being able to pick your classes in high school because they fucking teach you like what is the purpose of learning algebra 2 in high school if you're not going to have any job that has to do with math. I couldn't tell you anything about algebra 2, like zero things. Couldn't tell you anything about geometry either. I probably couldn't. I can still barely do long division. Like, you forget most of it. So
A lot of this isn't necessary for most people's day-to-day lives.
and
There are people that do use it,
that
but
really
that's not to
bugs
say
me.
that you shouldn't have a certain level of education. Like, why should we not try and evolve as a society? Why should we not try and get, just because we want to settle for what we want to do and that's it? Like,
No,
and
I think the
we should
difference.
go down to that level of standard. Like, why should we go down instead of trying to get everyone else up to that standard? And if it's not for you, sure, it's not for you. Don't go to college.
I think the difference is that when you're in high school, you hit your junior year, because your junior year is like senior year, you just coast the whole time. Junior year is your tough year. When you're in your junior year, you have the option to take algebra 2 or a woodworking class. I'm saying or, not and. I'm saying or a woodworking class, or a driver's ed class, or a deep sexual education class, which so many, God, please schools start teaching better sexual education. Please God, I can't stress that enough. Or maybe somebody really wants to study culinary work. Like, I understand that it will cost more money, but if the schools are willing to offer it, if they're willing to hire the right people, I think there's a huge disparity in teaching someone. I think history, like, I would love to, we've talked about this before, I would love to go back. College has become the new high school. It's just a place to figure yourself out, to me at least. I would love to go back in history and watch all these events happen. And the only time I was ever successful in history was in 8th grade. I probably got a B because it was like still required effort. I basically cheated my way through all of school. Guys, cheated my way through all of school. But in history, in 8th grade, I might have got a B plus, maybe an A. But we were talking about Greek mythology, rather. We're talking about Greek mythology.
It'll be fun. That's for sure. Did we mute? I'm not muted. Am I muted?
I didn't mute. I was talking to somebody.
Oh.
Kyle was just listening. I only went to school for a month and I worked in military explosives. And in the span of 3 years, I went from working at Del Taco and Big Five part-time to owning a house and being stable, all without a degree. So, in my opinion, college is overrated, not worth it unless you're going to be a doctor. There's very specific reasons why you go, like there's very specific rules as to why you go to college, but I think the division is whether or not if you are willing to work a blue collar job, then I think that you should go that route. I'm very advocating for trade school. I'm a very big advocate of trade school.
Yeah, I think we're missing out on so many different types of jobs that require college degrees that like we're just like not talking about. Like
it
I
definitely
even begin to start because I wouldn't even know where to stop.
Like, it definitely like college definitely does not just consist of whether or not you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or scientist, but there is, I think.
I agree that it should be toned down. I do think it is overrated, but I wouldn't say like.
Would you agree on the statement that it's blue collar of whether or not you go to college if you're willing to work a blue collar job or do that profession?
If you know before college that you want to work a blue collar job, and there's a trade school for it, then yeah, well, there's no point. You already know what you want to do, and you're going to be happy doing it, or you think you're going to be happy doing it, right? Because I'm sure you've had prior experience. So you go to trade school, you learn your trade, you apprentice, and that's your thing. Sure, I have no issue with that.
I was watching a video the other day where this guy was talking about his career, and he said that he got into his career because he loved accounting, and that's not something that I could process in my mind. This guy was so into accounting that he stopped doing, he like didn't want to party anymore or like hang out with people because he's just like, I want to go be crunching numbers. Like, guy likes numbers. I don't know.
A whole bag. I just love numbers. I don't know what it is.
Politicians talk about how important education is, but they always talk about.
I was going to say, you want to just focus on chat for the next little bit?
Sure. But they always talk about college because that's where the money is. High school is a mess and needs to be revamped. I think we already went over this far enough, Luke, but yeah, I agree. It's a mess. Teach more sexual education. Teach kids how to file their taxes. teach kids how to fucking wake up in the morning and respect themselves. Honestly, teach kids how to love themselves.
One of the awesome things that has happened the last few years is how many computer classes have come up. Keyboarding, like learning how to type properly, learning how to do your research, use your citations, do proper research. I think all that has come within like the last 5 to 10 years, and that's up the alley of high school changes that we should be making. There needs to be more, but I think that's like one step in a good direction.
They need to add home ed back so people can know how to fucking cook. I agree.
We took home ed in middle school. We actually, our high school kind of like replacement.
Isn't it home ec?
Home ec, yeah, home ec. He wrote home ed.
What, Austin? You idiot! You should have went to college. Got it.
In high school we had a shop class. That's what we had instead. Which was, again, that's for the kids who want to work with their hands.
So, wish you could work with your hands. Hi, Kyle's mom. I'm his straight friend. As Kyle was saying before, we're going to the party. I know, Kyle. I know you're getting excited about food in chat. I know. I saw it in your eyes. You saw food in chat. I saw it in your eyes. As Kyle said before, we're going to transition to the portion of the stream of the podcast where we just take questions from chat for the next 15 minutes or so, next 10 minutes or so, maybe the next 5 minutes. I'm
gonna grab water. You got first question.
Water. Maybe you guys have no questions at all, and we'll just slowly just like talk and hang out and cuddle and stuff. But this is the portion of the stream of the chat where we slowly start transitioning to chat questions. Oh my god, look at the keister on that boy. How do you like it? Build your own burger, pizza, and salad. What do you mean? Like, how do I like the concept of building my own food? Like, if I'm gonna go out to a restaurant, of building my own food? Or do I want someone to tell me, Luke, all of your questions suck today. Just like, how do I like the idea of building my own food? What would you put on or in it? In a fucking burger? Ah, Luke, your questions suck. You have a girlfriend, Luke? Are you the life of the party? Is Luke your guys' Jake? Do you guys make fun of him?
No.
His questions suck.
We don't
talk to him too often.
Jake's unique enough. He's his own.
We don't talk to Luke often.
If anything, it's Anthony's our friend Anthony's our Jake.
Would you rather be in jail for a year or lose a year off your life? Lose a year off my life.
I'd rather be in jail for a year.
Why? You're not gonna fuck. What are you gonna do when you're 86? You're probably gonna live like 12 more years max.
I don't want to lose a year. Like, I'd rather get the experience of.
Wait, do I get to pick? Hold on, do I get to pick when I lose it? Like, am I blacking out during this time, or is it just like I die 1 year sooner than I'm supposed to?
You're like, I'm gonna take a year off.
I don't remember. That already happened to me, Austin. I don't remember like the first 13 years of my life. I mean, I all blocked it out. Okay, well then I'm taking the second one because I already did that. That question's actually very applicable to me. I could have been in jail, but instead I lost several years off my life. Oh.
Yikes.
Yeah, Luke had a stupid question about putting like building your own, like what goes in your ideal salad or burger or pizza. That's a stupid question. You can answer it if you want to.
All right, sure. Salad's irrelevant because why would I do that? I'm not a rabbit. Burger. Fucking know a burger, cheese, lettuce, onion, like whatever you want, dude. It's a burger. I'm there for the meat. Pizza. What the hell's wrong with pizza? Why do you have to change pizza? It's pizza. Yeah, you could put stuff on it that would make it better, but
should we ban Luke from the next stream? I think we might have to. That's 2 weeks in a row with bad questions. Because he had that dinner table question last week where he was like, "Who would you want at your dinner table? Name 8 people."
That was a bad one.
Would you rather have all traffic lights you approach be green or never have to stand in a line again? I would do the all traffic lines approach be green because I could convince people that I'm magic and I can make money. I already can't ever stand in lines. I can just walk away from the line and I'll never stand in a line again.
I don't mind waiting in line.
Kyle's a sociopath, so he doesn't mind waiting in line. If anyone crosses him, he'll just kill him.
Whoa, dude, I don't think you could say that.
But like,
anyway, no, like, I always have, like, my phone or something, right? Or I'm listening to music, so I'll pass the time. Traffic lights, like, I don't text and drive on record. When would you rather have I'd rather just cruise through. That would be so nice.
I would also prefer that too, because that means he can't call me at stoplights anymore.
I don't call you at stoplights because it rings through the, I got that 2020 Bluetooth thing. That's just like, it's hands free.
When I was working at the bakery, I was working at a bakery. I used to call Kyle every day on my lunch break, and we talk about killing ourselves all the time because we were both so depressed. Would you rather know how you die or when you die?
When.
How?
All right, we disagree. Next question. So the reason I say when is because I could plan accordingly. If there's a high risk with going with how, right? Because if it's driving a car, you're screwed. Like, car accident. Oh, I'm never driving a car. Like, you see, like, then you're screwed.
What if it was in 30 seconds? You were about to have a heart attack. Huh!
Yeah, I mean, what could you do anyway?
It'd be like a do. I would say how.
If you say when, and it's like 78 years old, like, yeah, not a problem. I'll, like, when I get to that point, the day before, like 12 hours before, I'll just take a bunch of pills and go to sleep, and I'll die in my sleep. Perfect.
That's what I was gonna do, but I was gonna take it way more graphic. I was just gonna shoot myself in the head. I was gonna say for how. Like, you're gonna die being attacked by sharks. Not if I shoot myself in the water first.
How I won't. My dying statement will be, "You're wrong." How would you?
I'm so spiteful. I would do that I would do that to the gods of fucking what are they? The goddesses of fate. I do it to the goddesses of fate. You're gonna die at 78 years old at 12 hours, 47 minutes, and 6 seconds of tripping down the stairs. I would get to the stairs, be mid-trip, pull out a knife, slit my own throat. You'll never get me, goddesses of fate. I really gotta work on that whole spiteful thing. I mean, I don't have to, because, like, it's not a bad thing, but, like, most people are wrong. Just,
People, yeah.
We'll take a few more questions from chat. I haven't had third dinner yet. I don't think Kyle's had sixth dinner, so. How's working out going, by the way?
It's alright. It's kind of boring already. Gym's open up Monday.
That's good.
33% capacity.
You have 33% body fat? That's crazy.
And they're regularly at like 150% body fat.
Okay, here's a hard one, apparently, to Tommy and Oscar. Well, Tommy and Oscar aren't, like... When I think of all the smartest people that I could put in a room...
2,500 years ago?
Would you rather be an average person the president or a king of a large country 2,500 years ago? How is that a hard one?
Average person's already a step up.
Or a king of a large country. How is that a hard one? What's an average person? What are you defining as an average person? Just like me or you?
Also, a king of a large country 2,500 years ago, you're probably gonna get assassinated by 25. So,
who cares? You get a fucking drink point. No, I don't want to be me or you. I would way rather be 2,500 years ago king me. What do you mean? I wouldn't have depression. But I couldn't speak their language. I went back in time. I couldn't speak their language.
Oh, this is terrible.
I got all these people. My job literally requires people, like, I have to ask for people constantly to help me out, and no one listens to me. If I could command people to listen to me, I'm taking that. I don't even care if I live for a week. On an execution rampage? Exactly! Who's gonna stop you? You're a king. And then if they try to, just crossbow yourself in the head. It's that simple. There's no chance that you take an average society question. I would way rather live long ago. Just have like 47 kids, all of them try and kill you, just completely ruin the country. I would be like a super nice guy, but slowly ruin the country. Be a great time. Excuse me. Just like any East African dictator where crossbows invented 2,500 years ago. Who cares? I'm taking back my knowledge and crossbowing myself in the head.
He was a witch anyway. He had a crossbow.
What is this device? It is bow, but not bow. We should have a spelling bee for Tommy and Oscar on stream.
Sure.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. We have... There's these things in my family, well, between my dad and brother and I, called smart-offs. I don't know how the fuck it started. Where it's just one person says a random fact and the other person has to answer it. So it'd be like, when does a hill... The one that it started with was, when does a hill become a mountain?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, when does a hill become a mountain? What's the footage that a hill becomes a mountain at?
I mean, I don't know exactly, so I'll just guess. 800 feet.
1,000 feet that a hill
That's
becomes
close.
a mountain. Yeah, but not close enough, so you lose a smart enough, and now you're gonna get hit.
I was gonna say 1,000, but like that just seems too.
When rocks are involved. Luke, are you doing okay, buddy? You want to talk about some stuff?
He's just memeing right now. Memeing too much.
Other than that, if there's no questions in chat, are you streaming tonight, beautiful?
Yes, sir.
You gonna sign off then? We went for like 2 hours, I think. It's long.
That was a really long one.
I had a great time.
But yeah,
I love you with my whole heart.
That was a lot of fun. I'm gonna go fire up my stream. As always, it was a pleasure. Thank you guys for hanging out. If you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe.
Yeah.
Again, do it twice.
We have a new mini master
yeah.
season tomorrow, I think, by the way.
Oh god, yeah, we gotta grind that. All right, we'll figure it out. You're awesome. Thank you for the conversation.
I love you. I love talking to you. You're my favorite person.
Oh, thank you. We'll be back next week.
Clutches her fist in chat.
Why I order. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. We'll be back next week, hopefully around the same time. It varies. Just come hang out, and we'll start it eventually.